Welcome to Documentary First, an inside look at a first-time filmmaker's journey. I'm not your host, Josh Lindsay, but I am the first-time filmmaker, Christian Taylor. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I am here by myself. Josh and Jason can't be here today, and truthfully, it's my fault. I was supposed to record with them last Thursday, but I forgot I had promised my son Jacob to help him move from Atchison, Kansas to Crawfordsville, Illinois. So that's what I was doing. I was actually driving a U-Haul for about 10 hours across the middle of our country. So I was very thankful to do that for my son, happy to help him get set up, but it did mean I forgot to record with Josh and Jason. So they'll be back, next week when we record, and we'll touch base with them. Anyway, I just wanted to catch you up on a few things with Documentary First. This will kind of be a short podcast, just because not a lot's been happening. I've been taking care of family needs and things like that. One thing that did happen, I was super excited about. Laura Priebe, who is a Patreon supporter, a Documentary First listener, but she's also been with the film for a very long time. She started early on transcribing a lot of our interviews and cleaning those up. She's held fundraisers for us. She works very hard to support our film, not only with her efforts, but also, setting up financial beneficial things for us. So we're incredibly grateful for her. One of the things that she did last week was she set up an event, which I thought was super creative, to show Grueling Glory, but also talk about Michèle Phoenix's new book that began when she was with us in Normandy in 2018. So she brought us both together, Michèle Phoenix, who was our translator for both films, and our live in-person translator. Michelle Coupé was the one that actually translated the written interviews once we got those transcribed. But anyway, we were there with Michèle Phoenix, me, Laura Priebe, and her church. And she ended up holding an event in her church. So the people that were interested in Michèle's book or Grueling Glory, which Michèle also wrote, would be able to interact with us, ask questions, and things like that. So I want to say thank you, Laura. That was just a wonderful opportunity. I wish I could have been there in person, but I was so thankful you did it, and that, thankful for the technology that I could at least be there on Zoom. And encourage anybody else that listens. We truly love doing in-person events or even Zoom events with our listeners and our fans. So if that's something you're interested in, please email me at christian@documentaryfirst.com. I would love the chance to connect with you, host a screening. Another thing I'm super excited about, I may have mentioned this earlier, but Doug Darby, who is at Lubbock Christian University, we are talking about doing a screening there, maybe setting up an internship with his kids who are focused on social media marketing to try to partner with us and help us. So we talked again this week just about some specifics in regards to that. So super thrilled about that opportunity. Another thing I want to mention this week was I got an email from Joe Amadei, who's head of Virgil Films Entertainment, who said, "Hey, I was just catching up on the podcast, and I want to say thank you for the encouraging words." And I just want to say that encouraged me, that he was actually taking the time. And another guy that works in his office, Tim, they take the time to listen to the podcast to catch up on what's going on with us. And gee whiz, that's just incredible to have a distributor that cares that much about us as a company, or me as a person, or the film itself, to be following along on what's happening. So I can't say enough wonderful things about Virgil Films and the people that work there. They are super encouraging, and they really are supportive of the filmmaker. And if you have a documentary film that you think really is of high quality, and you want to see it get distribution, I do recommend you reach out to Virgil Films and, see if they're interested in working with you. They are highly, highly recommended. So anyway, thank you, Virgil Films, for all you're doing for us. We really appreciate you. We can't wait. We can't wait to get this film out there. The other thing was, this week we got a donation from another Well, basically, they are our biggest supporters, Bob and Janie Miller. They have been there from the beginning. I've talked about this forever, that they support us not only financially, but in so many other ways. Bob takes time to meet with me as a business advisor. Janie is a wonderful cheerleader. And there was a happy accident where I think they meant a donation to go somewhere else, but it ended up coming to us, and we really needed it. And they wanted us to have it, even though it maybe intentionally wasn't meant for here. They are very generous people and give lots to lots of people. But what's incredible is they then said they'd heard of the needs for just E&O insurance and all of the other licenses that we have to pay for. And so they wanted it to go towards that. So Bob and Janie, thank you. You continue to be a blessing to us as I go through all of these different, highs and lows and positives and negatives. You've always been there, and it means so much to me. Also, if you are listening to this and you are a Patreon supporter, I do want you to know that I have not forgotten about you either. It has just been a crazy time, and I really don't have any help right now. So it's difficult for me to get around to the Patreon stuff, but I will. I hope to get things settled down. Another exciting thing this week, Bill got to work. He finally was wrapped with a couple of movies that he's been working on, and he sent me a text message showing me that he had pulled up the footage that we shot about the Carentan project back in June, and he's ready to start processing that. So I'm super excited. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet to see what he thinks about the footage, but I'm going to do that today. And then I've got to buckle down and figure out how I'm going to pay for the things I need to pay for to get the Guerrilla War Freedom relaunched. Another thing we started thinking about is we are going to have to ask everybody we know to begin reviewing and liking on all the different platforms as they go up. So that's what's happening now. I really hope to. Oh, and one other thing, I totally forgot about this. We have been invited to the Currahee Military Week in Toccoa, Georgia. So if you don't know about Toccoa, Georgia, or the Currahee Military Week, Toccoa is where the 101st Airborne Paratroopers basically started and trained. If you've seen Band of Brothers, you already know this. There really is a Currahee Mountain. I've actually been up it with Toccoa and Flavie, who are also on our Girl Who Wore Freedom team. They run Normandy Discovery tours. They're amazing people, great tour guides. So if you're going to Normandy and you need some, Normandy Discovery tours, as well as Flo and Jenny Plana's World War II Veterans Memories, are our top 2 tour guide recommendations. Anyway, I drove up Mount Currahee Mountain while Toccoa and Flavie ran. And they have a military museum there. They still have the barracks that the guys slept in, and so they opened those up for people to visit. They are restoring, I think, a C-47 plane. They made a lot of progress with that. And there's some other things. I did visit the museum at the time, but I'm having trouble remembering everything that was there. But they have seen the movie. They really want to show it again during this weekend. So I've been invited to screen the film there, as well as do a book signing and a DVD signing. And that is the weekend of September 28th, 29th, all the way through October 2nd. You can go online, I think, and just look up Toccoa a museum or Currahee Military Weekend. You'll find all the details if you're interested. It looks like a phenomenal event. Sadly, I know that Brad Freeman, who is in our film, and 101st Airborne original guy, as well as Al Mampre, were both there in the past for this weekend. And as we know, Brad Freeman recently passed, and Al Mampre passed right before the opening of our Rough Cut in 2019, which ripped my heart out. He was supposed to be our guest of honor in Normandy for that, release, and he passed away right before we opened. So anyway, I'm definitely going to be thinking of them as I go. And I'm super excited because Sam Cook, one of our interns who is now working in the Atlanta area, is going to come and join us and help me with sales and just getting around. And I'm really happy to see Sam King. So that's awesome. And that's pretty much what's been happening. I really hope to get focused this week on, getting the interviews translated or transcribed from the Carentan project so I can get those to Bill, working with Zach Callahan, our writer, who's continuing to hone in on the Carentan sizzle reel script. He's also working on The Brave Dutch, a narrative version of The Brave Dutch, which I'm excited about. So there's a lot of fun work ahead of me for the month of September, and I really can't wait to get down to it. Okay, last thing, I still want to do our new segment, DocuView Deja View. DocuView Deja View. All right, here we are. And I wanted to, let you know about the movie that's on my mind. And it's on my mind because I drove, of course, to Crawfordsville, and then I drove from Crawfordsville back to Wheaton. And on the way, I saw this big sign that was for the Bob Ross Experience. And it reminded me of the Bob Ross documentary, which I may have talked about before, but I just want to highlight it again. The documentary was incredibly well done, super upsetting and very infuriating for the way that Bob Ross and his name and his family were treated. And it makes me, even though I would find it interesting to go to the Bob Ross Experience, I never will, because now, the fallout from what happened with his life, I just will never visit those places again. Anyway, in order to find out what that is, you'll need to watch the Bob Ross documentary. It was on Netflix. I didn't look today where it actually was, but I'm sure you can find it. Last time I saw it, it was on Netflix. So Bob Ross documentary, check it out. Super good. And it probably will make you mad too. All right. So that's it for today. And hopefully I'll be back next time with Jason and Josh, and we'll have a lot more to report about what's been going on. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate you. Please, write me if you have anything to say, any suggestions, any encouragements. I'm open to all of them. And if you want us to come and do a screening, either virtually or in person, totally up for that. So again, I appreciate you so much. So take care. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.